matches to try to match that hype in terms of good, quality, premium FIFA material.
There it is, the premium FIFA material that Mike LeBell is looking forward to. And I'm sure that these two gentlemen who are sat on that stage right now are going to be looking to produce exactly that. The man we're looking at right now, LevVinken, huge Ajax fan. Maybe he's looking to put right the wrongs that he might have seen in the semifinals of the Champions League.
He believes he deserves it, and it's hard to argue against that. Let's paint a picture. Marcuzo had a slow start to the year. Wasn't looking like money Marcuzo until last few months, but he's looked good representing from Denmark, eNations. We've seen him foot Champions Cups, eChampions League. Him and August have tag teamed on a partnership. And Lev, he's been consistent all year. Mr. Reliable. Hasn't won the big one yet. $100,000. First eChampions League title. He's got the claim, walking onto the pitch.
Maybe, Mike, this is his time. LevVinken, we can see him. He's been close, but he hasn't quite got over the finish line. A few times so far this season. We can see the final quarterfinal, I should say, of the day is about to kick off. This is the one we've all been waiting for. We can hear that famous, the infamous Champions League theme in the background here as we see the lineups. It's going to be interesting to see which players turn up. We've seen Hullet turn up in that last game for Zizinho. We've seen R9. Who are going to be the players as we see our final quarterfinal kicking off now? It's LevVinken versus Marcuzo. Well, the opportunity here for LevVinken inside the box. It's Ruud Hullet, the little roulette. And the referee has a decision to make almost immediately there, Mike. Does not give the penalty.
I'm expecting this to be back and forth, a lot of action. And remember, we have squad rules. So we're seeing that introduction of the Champions League arriere from Marcuzo.
Now there's one player I do have in my team at home.
And?
Solid. And there's a reason that he's been picked in there. We're going to have to see if he can combat those crosses that might be coming in. Here's a cricketer. First couple of the game from Marcuzo. Flicks it up in towards the box. And Sergio Ramos has some early defensive work to do there. LevVinken comes away.
We've seen all the matches start off rather cagey. This one has a little bit of a different rhythm or a different flow to it.
Well, here's Vieira looking to continue that flow forward here. Marcelo steps in for LevVinken. Recently, of course, signed for MKERS, so he's got that name to represent in the same way that Zizinho did so well for Team Hullet in our last quarterfinal. But here comes LevVinken, maybe an opportunity for him to go forward. Marcuzo tries to step in, just kind of bouncing around at the moment. A big chance here. Mbappe inside the box, but the cricketer hasn't quite reached that level of execution you would expect in that final third. Ronaldo, accelerated fake shot, trying to get around the outside of Rafael Varane. It doesn't work for him, unfortunately. Now you're going to see him step out of defense, just slowly inch his way up the pitch.
And both of these players know each other well. They've matched up twice this year. Most recently, LevVinken was the victor. However, early on in the year, Marcuzo had a very definite win in Bucharest.
In Bucharest, he was going to be looking to look back on those fond memories, and now we're going to see Cristiano Ronaldo. Space here for Vieira. First time shot, just wide of the target. I saw a deep breath there from LevVinken as well. Kind of sails harmlessly out, but what's your thoughts on the early part of this game here, Mike? Because it has been a little bit of a cagey affair.
I actually think it's kind of back and forth, even though it's 0-0. We're seeing players in the right positions. We're seeing skill moves from both sides here. Everybody's trying to shake up and create some of that space.
Well, speaking of space, here's Ruud Hullet. Drag back from him, flicks it up. There's space for Ronaldo, but just at the right second. Sergio Ramos closed down that space, and David De Gea has to scamper off his line to pick that ball up and start an attack here. Ronaldo around the outside. Here is Ruud Hullet, such an influential player on the pitch. R9 now looking for that pass, and Ramos, a little bit of a shaky first touch, but he recovered well.
And Marcuzo said he didn't want to be known as just the La Croqueta guy. And so up to this point, we've seen more La Croquetas from LevVinken than Marcuzo. Maybe he's trying to show something a little bit different.
Maybe he's trying to get inside the head of his opponent. Neymar now, LevVinken stepping forward. Vieira. Well, it takes a tumble inside the box there, but nothing given by the referee. And now we see Marcuzo coming forward. Vieira stepping out of that central midfield position. Runners looking to arrive here. Give him options. Marcuzo now. Vieira back on the ball. Hullet. Those two CDMs exchanging passes in and around the box. There's one, there's two, there's three. But the finish, not quite there.
And that third exit from the La Croqueta is what makes it special. Like you said, not one, not two, but three. And then he exits to the left instead of exiting to the traditional right.
Well, it might be an opportunity here. It's a Croqueta after a heel-to-heel, and the first goal of the game. It's going to go to that man on your screen. Marcuzo. He strikes first.
No reaction. He knows it's still early on. He gets the chest pat approval from August. Coach Aggie. Multi-world champion, August Rosemeyer, both from Denmark, of course.
And you couldn't think of a better person to have past you. Such a calm demeanor about Agger and everything that he's achieved. And I think it's rubbing off on the man that's on the sticks as well, Marcuzo. As you see, not getting carried away, knows there is a long way to go.
And I spoke to August. That's what they've been working on, because August is a very traditional, structured player. Marcuzo is the opposite. He's going to give you a bunch of skill moves. He wants to play high pressing play. Known for his offense, not necessarily known for his defense, at least not at the same levels.
Well, Agger might be looking to help out in that particular area. We see LevVinken there linking together a couple of croquetas. Opportunity to maybe try and find some space, and it's going to be interesting to see here Marcuzo, going up against the croqueta, something he has been known for. As we said earlier, though, doesn't want to become known as that one-dimensional player. He has a lot of other things to his game.
He's actually very gifted with many skill moves as well. If you're looking for the heel-to-heels, some of the ball rolls, the drag backs, a lot of intricacies that we don't always appreciate because we focus so much on his ability to innovate and manipulate the La Croqueta.
Yeah, I mean, he is the master of it. I kind of said it's become almost the Marcuzo in some certain circumstances.
We need to trademark that. I've never heard that before, the Marcuzo.
Yeah, we'll see if we can
put that in a Twitter bio.
We'll have to see if he can pattern that one himself. He's going to have to do a lot of work left in this game, though. 39 minutes gone, just 5 minutes to half-time. And the pace of the game has slowed down a little bit. Now we maybe will see that injection of pace. Here's Ruud Gullit stepping forward again. Marcuzo looking dangerous on the back heel. It didn't find his target, but R9 is looking to find his. Unfortunately, just couldn't beat that last man.
And if you're giving constructive criticism, you could say he didn't need the second one. He scooted around so perfectly, and he had the angle to let loose. And he went for an additional La Croqueta. And I think that LevVinken was sitting on it.
Well, here's LevVinken then. Couple of moments left till half-time. Mbappe, Aurier trying to get back into position, but he gets beaten here by Kylian Mbappe. Gets the ball up into the air, looking for that cross in. Maybe towards Ronaldo, but the ball's going to be recycled here. R9, chance, Croqueta makes it 2. Ball falls to Gullit. Just can't get past the defensive line. Maybe one more chance though. LevVinken. Is it going to be a corner? It is going to be one more chance before half-time. Whipped into the box, a player goes down, it's Van Dijk, and the header from Mbappe. Either side of David De Gea, and you have to say that's a goal.
He should be doing better. Wide open, defender falls over. Got to put that in a corner. Make the keeper make a save. Force your opposition to maybe manipulate that keeper. Move him left, move him right. Take a chance. And if you score a goal just before half, it always leads to good momentum, good energy for you starting that second half.
And once again, this quarterfinal is living up to expectation. And one image that's kind of ingrained in my memory is from Manchester when Marcuzo qualified for this event we are at right now. His hands, they were shaking. And I'm kind of seeing that again from him now. But I'm starting to think maybe that nervous energy is a good thing for him.
Having butterflies or a little bit of anxiety just means you care. It's reassuring that you care about the result and that you want to get this win. You want to keep your legacy moving in the right direction.
So 1-0 here to Marcuzo at the break. Chances at both ends of the pitch, though, Mike. I'm not expecting too many changes here.
That's what I was going to follow up on at halftime. I don't think either player is necessarily unhappy with how they were able to create chances, how they were able to attack or defend. It's just a matter of being a little more clinical, maybe getting some good fortune. Marcuzo had a couple late blocks on LevVinken opportunities within the box.
So back underway then. in our first leg here. Kylian Mbappe early on here for Marcuzo. Looking to get in behind. Well defended though by LevVinken. And now maybe a chance to counter-attack. You can see it looks like the fullbacks have been set to stay back here. And that's all well and good, but the pace of Kylian Mbappe means that that space is going to be eaten up. Ronaldo in the box, and Ramos again with a heavy tackle. Gets away with it. Second chance, Mbappe, good goalkeeper movement. He saw that one coming a mile off.
He was at least 2 to 3 steps ahead of that.
What was your reaction there, Mike, though? Sorry to challenge from Sergio Ramos, because that looked like that could have been given on another day.
I was actually surprised LevVinken went with that pass. He had so much space to work with, and Vieira was never going to catch Mbappe with that type of separation.
Well, here comes LevVinken again, starting to control the start of this second half. Space here for Ronaldo! And you cannot give him that space. We know all about Cristiano Ronaldo in the air, but that is a reminder of that shot power he has in the locker.
People talk about knocking on the door. Well, I think he was ringing the doorbell, and now the door's just been opened up for him. You have to say that LevVinken deserved to get that equalizer. He's created enough opportunities, and starting this second half, he looked very decisive. That he smelled the blood, he was going for it.
Yeah, you can see that chance just really starting to open up as soon as Patrick Vieira approached that 18-yard box. So many options either side there. And that's one of the weaknesses of the 4-4-2 that we are seeing Marcuzo employ here. Those CDMs, you've only got 2 of them. You don't have that cam coming back to help you out.
And often those CDMs end up being a little more flat than you would expect, especially if you use them going forward where they're taking space, and they're not going to be able to recover the same way.
So then Marcuzo looking to restore his lead, and he's almost creating an opportunity there. You can see trying to use the cricketer to get round the outside of Virgil van Dijk, but as we all know, that player of the year, Virgil van Dijk, it's a long way round him.
And you can see that LevVinken has made an adjustment where he's trying to target Aurier.
Oh, beautiful little elastico, though, to get past one man from Marcuzo. Unfortunately, just couldn't find that last pass again, but showing, again, more tricks than we expect here from Marcuzo. Speaking of tricks, though, sometimes all you need is a penetrative pass. Ronaldo inside the box. Lev was down by 1. What a tackle! Rafael Varane.
Talk about defense that bends a little bit, but it doesn't break. He might have been down and out. There was separation created, but he waited on that additional skill move. You got to give some credit there. Composure, experience, a lot of manual defending as well.
If he gets that wrong, Mike, it's almost a certain goal there for LevVinken, and LevVinken really has grown into this game, Mike. You have to say that he's taken the game by the scruff of the neck. Van Dijk has to defend well here. Ball into the box, and it's Varane again at the last gasp who gets his head on that one. And in the moment, Marcuzo's kind of treading water here.
And we've seen LevVinken employ multiple of these flick crosses. Even in,
Oh, mistake though, Ronaldo. Oh, and Virgil van Dijk again steps in. And not for the first time. He has been an absolute rock at the back so far for LevVinken. At the other end then, Mbappe. El Tornado into the box, R9's there, and this time it's Van Dijk doing the heavy lifting for Marcuzo.
And I hate to sound like a broken record, but you see it time and time again, that Aurier matchup is not working. Mbappe is killing him down the wing.
And with those squad rules that we have in place, it certainly creates some interesting matchups on the pitch. Scoop turn though from Marcuzo. There's a cricketer. Vieira, big bit of space here for Havertz. What a tackle from Marcelo. Second bite of the Chally, and David De Gea. Oh my word. You have to take your hat off, because that is a save that you're going to be talking about for a long time.
This is the most one-all back and forth we've seen in some time. It's tough to build up games when every game's went to extra time. Every time that you think a game's out of reach, not quite. Comeback is on. Players are motivated.
And with just 18 minutes left of regulation time plus stoppage time here at the end of the first leg, there is nothing, nada, to separate these two players. Tactical changes may be coming in. Maybe a change in personnel here, Mike. Corner then here for Marcuzo. Gets the ball up into the air. That should be easy pickings for David De Gea. Keep an eye on those substitutions on the left-hand side of your screen. And again, it's going to be that prime icon moment, Eusebio on the pitch. Here's Neymar then for Lev. Has a lot of thanks to do for David De Gea, but straight up the other end. He takes the chance when it presents himself. De Gea at one end, keeps him in the game. Straight up the other end, finds Mbappe. And we know how good he is in front of goal. Clinical from the Frenchman.
And I'll tell you what, leg number 2, I would be very surprised if we see Aurier in the starting lineup.
You recognizing that as a real weakness at the moment then, Mike?
The goal conceded there, all the space, and LevVinken's done a wonderful job. Halftime, made adjustments, decided, hey, I'm going to work that end line. I want to see Aurier make those tackles. And everything's ran through the Aurier's side on the defensive half. Whether it's Mbappe or looking for even some of the back post options. It's definitely been a liability for Marcuzo, no doubt about it.
We'll be keeping an eye on that matchup as this progresses. Here is that man, Serge Aurier. Can he maybe help going forward here? Havertz on that right-hand side. Got those 4-star skills. He's got that 5-star weak foot, and he's getting around his man here. Chance here for Havertz. Went for that low-driven shot of the near post. And again, LevVinken defends well, but now, second wave of the attack. This is where you really need to switch on. Son. He's fresh on the pitch as well. Eusebio turns away from one. Tight pass in here. Marcuzo, massive chance. Oh, he's taken it! 2-2. The cricketer was out in force.
And you saw a little bit more. The beautiful turn from Havertz, the super sub of dreams, at least thus far in this tournament. And then he adds the La Croqueta, waits for the goalkeeper. Does he move left? Does he move right? Slots it home on the near post. Beautiful finish. 2-2. Oh.
Every single game here in Madrid is delivering. And I want to give massive credit to that man on your screen there. Under this pressure, in these circumstances, to have that composure, Mike. You can't talk enough about it.
And we saw it in Manchester. He didn't play that well in Manchester, barely getting out of the Swiss stage, 4-3. And he was able to turn it up when he got to the knockout round, especially beating someone like Nicholas.
Well, he needs to switch on here because LevVinken's looking to answer back straight away. Messi, massive chance, massive save from David De Gea. Corner now.
That's so innovative with Messi. He used tendencies to his advantage there. Everybody thinks Messi's going to go to the left, drag back to the right.
Ronaldo picks the pocket of Lionel Messi. That little accelerated fake shot has created space on this right-hand side as well. Marcuzo now waiting for these runners, and look at the space here for Havertz. Forces Rafael Varane to come across, and that's well read. That's great positioning, but it doesn't matter when you make mistakes like that. The ball's going to fall to Havertz after the save. And Marcuzo, he had the early lead. LevVinken pulled it back, went into the lead. But Marcuzo now is back on top.
Havertz cannot be stopped. No chance, man. Got to put him into the squad. I used him this last weekend league. Huge fan. One of the best cards I've used this year.
You've got to say a little bit of fortune favouring Marcuzo there. The save from De Gea fell straight back to that team of the season. Havertz on that right-hand side. But again, talking about these players making impacts, and Havertz is certainly one that we want to start putting in that S-tier player, Mike.
The fourth official has indicated.
We've got one more attack, though, from LevVinken. You almost feel like there's still maybe one more goal left in this match.
And this is just the first leg of our final quarter-final. Hullet inching forward for LevVinken. Big interception, though, from Eusebio. And when it's all said and done here at the end of the first leg, it is Marcuzo who has a 1-goal advantage.
And if you're reviewing gameplay, once again, I don't think either player can be upset with how they played. They generated the attacks that they wanted to. They got those looks. And it's a matter of how you take those 1v1 opportunities. And in that final third, the final sequence of passing or skills or touches or angles and decision-making, are you up here with it? Or are you kind of here? And we've seen it. It's all about you being in your flow. FIFA's a game that's based so much on rhythm.
You can see Marcuzo certainly found his rhythm with some of the finishes that we will see here in the replays from this first leg. But you need to give credit to the mental fortitude there of Marcuzo. Went down early. Ruud Gullit with the first goal there for Marcuzo. Lev managed to pull it back here. A great strike there from Cristiano Ronaldo. He tied up at 1-1. It was LevVinken who then went into the lead.
And you got to think, LevVinken must be sitting right now feeling a little bit unlucky. A couple of the goals he gave up, good build-up from Marcuzo, but he got favorable bounces in terms of getting a rebound. Whether it fell to Ruud Gullit for the first goal or the final goal where it bounced back to Havertz. Can't miss from there.
Got to create your own luck sometimes, though. You've got to get into those positions. You've got to take those shots, and then who knows what could happen. It's much like real-life football. You never know where that ball's going to bounce, but luckily for Marcuzo there, it fell straight back to Havertz to give him that goal lead. But a goal lead, Mike, it's pretty much nothing at this level going into this second leg. Very easy to pull this back.
We say that. But if Marcuzo is able to get off to another attacking start, and he extends his lead, he doubles his lead, then you have to see, well, then we're going to see what Lev is kind of made of in terms of being able to create a comeback or if he's going to start to fall apart a little bit.
Well, what we're going to do right now is go over to the analysts because we've been talking about croquettes all day. I think they've got a little countdown for us.
We have indeed, because we said that this quarterfinal would see loads of La Croquettes, but we also saw counter La Croquettes as well from LevVinken. It obviously looked, Spence, like he'd been looking at some of Marcuzo's former matches and just trying to learn how to counter him on that La Croquette, which you see him do so often.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take a lot of research to know that Marcuzo was going to come armed with an arsenal of La Croquettes. But what LevVinken has done really well is watch the ball. It's an old footballing, bit of advice. You say, watch the ball, not the player. Don't get sucked in by that hip movement. And if you watch here, this one particularly is great defending by Virgil van Dijk. In the face of a couple of La Croquettes, he watches it, waits his moment, dives in at the perfect time, because usually it gets you if you dive in too early and you get beaten by the man. And it's just not been that effective in this game for Marcuzo, as much as we've seen it in previous iterations and previous tournaments for him, of course. So great from Lev, obviously, that he's been able to do that, but he has let in some goals in other ways. Marcuzo showing he can score in multiple fashions.
And just one word as well, I think Marcuzo's coach there, August, maybe sweating a little bit because he said if Marcuzo wins this tournament, he is going to get a Liverpool tattoo. That is one to watch out for. Can't wait to see what happens in this second leg.
Wait.
You take this.
August is going to get a Liverpool tattoo if Marcuzo wins.
I don't know.
Did I hear that correctly?
I'm not sure. I think that might be. We'll get it confirmed.
August doesn't have any tattoos and he doesn't support Liverpool.
That's a bad deal, August. But, if he wins the whole thing, Marcuzo, I'm sure that he'll be more than happy, and he won't even be thinking about that. So a fantastic first leg there, and a great breakdown from the guys there, how to defend against the croqueta. And maybe this is something that, having known who he's going to go up against, Lev could have practiced and could have worked on the build-up to this tournament.
It's not easy to defend against Marcuzo in the La Croqueta, or just his skill moves in general. If it was, then we wouldn't be talking about how special and how gifted he is at being able to execute and put together multiple skill moves in a fashion that creates easy opportunities.
And I think these statistics that we're seeing here about Marcuzo speak a lot about his play style, because you're seeing 39 goals for, 5.11 goals average. Big goal scorer, but you're going to have opportunities to score against him. So then underway then in the second leg, you can see the aggregate score there. 1 goal the difference between the two players. That's going to be Marcuzo on the attack early on here. LevVinken wins the ball back. And what do you think's running through the head of LevVinken right now?
If he can get off to an early start, if he can get back into this game, I think he'll be happy days with it. Like I said, he made a lot of good opportunities, and I think LevVinken has to feel a bit unlucky.
Well, here's Ronaldo inside the box for Varane, though, positioned well again by Marcuzo to make that defensive interception. Now Marcuzo streaming forward, and this is the advantage of the 4-4-2. The fact that you can get those counter-attacking options, those wingers, those strikers involved in the game.
And the big differences that you saw in the first matchup, or the first leg of this matchup, is more so that the mistakes Marcuzo made were those bend but don't break. They were smaller mistakes, and LevVinken didn't make as many mistakes, but they were big ones.
Well, here's LevVinken then looking to force Marcuzo into mistake, maybe turn back into trouble there. And again, the counter-attack is looking like a real viable option here, Mike.
And Marcuzo's happy with that. He's not a possession player by trade. He doesn't care about having 50, 60% possession. It's not a big deal.
Big tackle there from Sergio Ramos. I was pointing at the space in behind there, because if he managed to get that accelerated fake shot away from his man, it was a real opportunity to attack that byline.
And we've also seen Marcuzo use 3 different formations in the competitive scene this year. We've seen the narrow 4-1-2-1-2, which is also an August favorite early on this year. And we've seen him use the 4-4-2 now, as well as the classic 4-2-3-1.
They're not making much use of that corner opportunity. Then Van Dijk will come across to deal with the pace of Mbappe and just poke that one out of play. And this is starting to settle into an interesting pattern of play here. Marcuzo happy to set up and play on the counter-attack, and then suddenly burst into action again. Van Dijk has to come across and deal with Kylian Mbappe. The Frenchman won it back though, and Marcuzo can come forward again. So many attacking options here. Space here for Ronaldo, but smart play here. Use that clock, even this early on in the game, Mike. Pull those players about. Ronaldo, Elastico one. Links it into the second, but can't quite create the space, can't quite carve the opportunity he was looking for.
FIFA 19 is about being able to unlock that midfield, at least on the offensive end. Pulling midfielders out of position allows you to find those wall passes, those outlets, those target men, where you get those 1-2s, the skill moves, you get the angles that are necessary and able to score goals at a consistent ratio.
Well, the midfield battle is being won here. Great ball, Ronaldo! Huge chance. And if you go up by 2, you really do start to believe a little bit more. You kind of got 1 foot in that semi-final. LevVinken kind of holding on at the start of this second leg.
And Marcuzo should be converting that.
Ronaldo then looking to bully his way through. 2 players had to deal with him. Now Marcuzo can come away again. Neymar into Hullet, and we're starting to see Marcuzo maybe slow his play down a bit, Mike.
And this is actually out of character from Marcuzo, and that's why you saw his goals for and goals against ratio being so close. Wasn't a big gap there. It's because he's more of a pressing player, likes to play fast, and I know that he's been working on having more structure when he's ahead to try to put more pressure on his opposition.
And now he's going forward. This is where he's comfortable. Almost gets that cricketer away there to beat the man, but he's going to close down the space well here. The scoop turn followed up. There's 1, there's 2. Oh, and there was almost a third there to create that opportunity. You call it the sauce, Mike, and we almost saw it there, but that's the sauce you keep at the back of the cupboard.
Felt like I was having an R9 tango there in the box.
Half an hour gone in the second leg, then still 1 goal separating these 2 players. A reminder, a matchup against NYC Chris awaits the winner of this game in the semi-final. Marcuzo now, loads of space inside here, goes outside to Mbappe. Maybe slightly overhit. There's 2. The third one though, every single time, Mike, just can't get it away.
And LevVinken's having a lot of trouble getting out of the back. That pressing play from Marcuzo is causing problems.
LevVinken with the first real opportunity to break out of his own half in the last 5 minutes. Mbappe has the chance to attack the space. Van Dijk. Slightly misjudged there by Marcuzo. Here comes Ronaldo. Sergio Ramos wins the header. Second opportunity here, R9. Almost a Marcuzo-esque collection of cricketers there from LevVinken. Not quite as effective as we've seen sometimes from the Dane. R9 then for Marcuzo. Mbappe turning back inside. Big chance here. Huge chance. Neymar. David De Gea. That is special.
Perfect goalkeeper movement. Bit of a double bait. Went early left. Marcuzo waited, went back to the right. That could be the key moment if LevVinken's able to get back into this game.
A 2-goal difference is huge at this level, especially with time on your side as well. LevVinken coming forward on the counter-attack now. He has men over as well. If he can find a pass early here, he does find that pass. Neymar's in behind, drives it across goal. But a long left leg of Virgil van Dijk makes a vital interception.
And we saw that in the first half as well. A little too predictable. We see that pass coming. Marcuzo sees that pass coming, gets a foot on it, and it's another missed opportunity from Lev.
El Tornado, back post. It's Ramos versus Ronaldo. Great anticipation from Marcuzo with the goalkeeper movement. And all of a sudden, this game has turned on its head. LevVinken starting to look more dangerous going forward. Starting to have a little bit more of the ball in midfield. And you have to wonder, with Marcuzo soaking up this pressure now, if he gets that goal, is that going to turn this game on its head? Mbappe up against Aurier, the heel to heel. It's not effective initially, but the strength will work for the second one. Runs into Virgil van Dijk, a corner now on the stroke of half-time, into the box. David De Gea comes out. and puts 2 big mitts on it, and that is going to be the halftime whistle. 1 goal the difference. Marcuzo with that 1 goal advantage.
Hard to believe that's a 0-0 second leg.
That's ridiculous, yeah. So many chances. But still, the one statistic we need to keep in mind is the 1 goal difference between these 2 players. It's still on a knife edge, Mike.
And I don't think we're going to see changes. If you're LevVinken, you're reviewing everything that happened in the first half. You were in the right place at the right time on multiple occasions, and it comes down to being able to finish, seeing the game a little bit quicker. Marcuzo predicted where he was going to shoot with the goalkeeper multiple occasions. And the same could be said on the other end. Marcuzo had clear cut, wide open, spread the sea, all the time in the world. Maybe too much time, and LevVinken was able to scoot the goalkeeper a little bit as well.
And we've talked about how games have been decided so far about players being clinical in front of goal. You just think, as that seed of doubt starts coming in Marcuzo's head, should I have taken those chances? Especially if LevVinken finds this equalizer.
As a competitive FIFA player, you want to have short-term memory, but that's easier said than done.
Here's LevVinken then, coming forward. Vieira, dispossessed by Patrick Vieira. Ramos around the corner now to Ronaldo, playing in that wide cam position. Ruud Gullit, this is where you want this man on the ball, pulling the strings. Mbappe, big chance! And David De Gea says, you shall not pass. Punch away from the goalkeeper now. And you have to say, David De Gea at both ends has been absolutely superb.
Still saying the same thing with Aurier. It's not been a good matchup on the defensive end. The majority of the opportunities that LevVinken have are all attacking Aurier. Looking for Mbappe, any given opportunity.
Well, here's Marcuzo inside the box, the heel to heel, little spin inside as well. And you were almost waiting for that 3rd skill move to come in. If you would have beaten Virgil van Dijk, it would have been a clear-cut opportunity, but Lev defends well again. And you have to say both players defensively defending those skill moves, Mike, has been exceptional.
Well, we've seen both of these guys at a lot of events. A lot of time, a lot of research you can do on both ends.
Well, here's Gullit then for LevVinken, looking for this equalizer. He's searching for this equalizer, and that is superb! And it's going to be Mbappe! And you have to say, he almost deserved the ball falling to him there.
That roulette was lovely. That was beautiful. I felt that one. And while we're watching this replay, just to reiterate, if you guys are just tuning in, we do have squad rules. So you have to have 3 Champions League players as well as 3 icons in your team. So that's why you're seeing the likes of some new faces, shall we say.
And those faces have been the players who have made the difference in certain games. And this is where I worry for Marcuzo. Having had that lead, having had to play almost unnaturally, Mike, is conceding that goal and having to change back into his more natural play style. Is that going to play on his mind?
I'm just thinking the theme of today's been extra time, so why not? Let's just continue that theme.
Let's keep this train rolling.
The people asked for this matchup. They wanted to watch this matchup. They needed to be back and forth. It's been just that. 4 for 4, extra time? Are we getting ahead of ourselves?
We'll have to see how this one pans out. It wouldn't surprise me with the level of competition we've seen here so far in Madrid. A little bit of a wasted opportunity, though, from LevVinken. Havertz again making, this time, an interception in the defensive areas of the pitch. And look at this run from deep here for Cristiano Ronaldo. R9 just holding onto the ball, maybe just slightly too long. And now LevVinken is going to be the player looking to counter-attack. Ronaldo, he's in behind Ramos. The Spaniard trying to get across to deal with the Portuguese player, but Van Dijk again. There's a little bit of confusion here, but David De Gea says, gentlemen, let's calm this down. Let me take control.
Big Virgil with a definite tackle there. Sent a little bit of a message. A lot of space for Marcuzo to work with.
And here is that space. R9 to Ronaldo. Out wide here to Neymar. Big charge. Quiketa. Make it 2. No finish. And a huge block. But it doesn't matter. Because he keeps his calm. He keeps his cool. And he keeps himself in with a chance of the semi-finals.
The way that man walks the tightrope in terms of using the skill moves and those just intricate details, you have to appreciate it. If you've invested heavy time into FIFA 19, you know how difficult it is to pull off this many skills under this level of pressure. Remember, these guys are doubling their money right now. A $15,000 game.
And it's that man again, Havertz. who has made such an impact here in Madrid. And now LevVinken back where he was before, ball into the box, Van Dijk deals with it. And you have to think now that LevVinken's going to have to change tactics. Ronaldo for Marcuzo, a goal here. And you feel that this tie might be coming to its conclusion. Havertz again bursting into the box.
This Team of the Season Havertz card is special. From every game that I've seen him take part, he's made a difference. I think he scored a goal as a sub for every single person who's used him as a sub.
If you want the definition of super sub, that is exactly what you are looking for. Now we are seeing those tactical changes coming in from LevVinken. You can see Marcuzo toying with the idea of bringing on some fresh legs as well. You can see that Team of the Season. And then Hazard on that left-hand side. Team of the Season, Son, Eusebio. So many fantastic foot items available, even with these squad rules. What do you want to see from LevVinken here, Mike? Because it needs to change.
More build-up play that gets some shots in the middle of the pitch. He's been whipping in too many of those flick crosses, in my opinion. That tactic hasn't been very effective for LevVinken. You got to think he's won a couple of those headers, one of them a sure thing, and Marcuzo read it easily with the goalkeeper. Ended up being a catch and a reset.
Well, here comes LevVinken, then the tactical change is in effect now. He's got 15 in-game minutes to find an equalizer. 4-3 on aggregate, and that's a great start to potentially creating a chance. Couldn't find that ball back to Marcelo, though. And now Marcuzo, every time he has the ball at his feet, he knows he has the game in his hands. Mistake, though. Huge mistake here from Marcuzo. Ronaldo!
That was a gift.
It was wrapped. It was delivered. And I don't think that that man on your screen can believe what he's just done.
Happy birthday to LevVinken.
Happy
Courtesy,
Christmas.
yeah,
happy everything. Happy Easter. Whatever is around the corner.
Thanksgiving.
That's as big as a gift as you're ever going to get.
I can't believe that. We just built up how Marcuzo have been working on closing out games and the structure, adding that into his natural gameplay, and then he just gives that opportunity to LevVinken. And a player with the quality of LevVinken's never going to miss from here. Moves the goalkeeper early, easy tap in. Ronaldo's licking his chops.
And you know what's looming now, Mike? 4-4 this game. Every single quarterfinal so far has gone to extra time. Will this one be any different? 10 minutes left. Marcuzo, after a mistake of his own, is now looking to put that right. And then Hazard trying to get around the outside of Rudhullet. Doesn't happen too often, doesn't happen too easily. And now LevVinken, he's the man with the momentum. Big tackle from Aurier, though. Marcuzo. Can he keep his composure? Can he find a chance? Havertz again, 2-3. It's magic from Marcuzo!
You can't stop it. What are you going to do? You watch that back. It's beautiful. Oh.
The ability to put that moment of madness out of your brain and go straight up the other end and do what you do best. That is Marcuzo at his best.
And Havertz once again creating easy opportunities. And what Marcuzo does so well with the La Croquette is how he attacks the defender. He doesn't wait for the defender to come towards him, and he does a good job of baiting defenders or midfielders into stepping. And that allows you to scoop past them with the La Croquette. And it's just so much easier said than done. And when you're at this competitive level and the guys are so good at player switching and double teams, a lot of the time you can't find those gaps. And you get stuck recycling and trying to find new angles and ways to unlock some space, create some space, find some space. And if you're Marcuzo, you just La Croquette it and you create all the space. And you just can't miss from there. Hopefully, I guess for Marcuzo's sake, that he doesn't have another gift.
I was going to say, this is the one thing he needs to keep now is concentration. He cannot afford to gift a chance like he did to LevVinken to find another equalizer and send this one towards extra time. 7 minutes left in this game, plus stoppage time. What has LevVinken got left in the tank here?
And if you're LevVinken, you've got to think to yourself, man, I defended so well versus some of these skill moves and I wasn't able to stop them. He might have 2 attacks left. He's got kickoff, potentially 1 more takeaway at best. So he's got to be efficient. He's got to capitalize, must be clinical if given an opportunity.
And to just give you some of the gravitas of this matchup, of this quarterfinal, I think most of us were saying we feel the winner of this game is a potential winner of this tournament.
We should go farther than that. It's going to be the favorite to win this tournament.
Everyone
here has potential to win the tournament. But if you ask the people at home before this ever got started, ever got underway, this matchup, both guys high ranked, LevVinken being Mr. Consistent on the year, and then Marcuzo just building in form.
LevVinken only has a few more chances to go forward. Messi, fake shot, gets the shot away, can't get the rebound himself, and Marcuzo hangs on.
Wonderful outlet there. Marcuzo's got tons of space to work with.
And he is going to have space to play with. LevVinken has to commit forward. Rudhulit, big tackle from him because that is possession back in LevVinken's hands. He can come forward once more, but Ramos steps in at just the right time, but he's giving it away. This is LevVinken's tournament on the line now. The last few seconds, Messi, roulette, away from Van Dijk. A couple of drag backs, but just invited the pressure there from Rudhulit. And Marcuzo now has the game in his hands. Into stoppage time. Another throw in here for Marcuzo. The seconds are ticking by. It's agony for LevVinken. Marcuzo has 1 foot in the semi-finals. Stoppage time is up. Eusebio's inside the box. He's looking to finish this off. Corner here, and this one is pretty much done and dusted. Marcuzo takes it short. The tackle comes in. We're just waiting for the whistle. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time here. Havertz then, just waiting for the referee's whistle. He's toying with Marcuzo here. He's playing with his emotions and LevVinken's.
I don't think they're going to be friends after this.
Marcuzo has had the craziest of seasons. A slow start, but business has started to pick up here for the Dane. Like a phoenix from the ashes, Marcuzo keeps on rising. He takes down LevVinken, and he'll be in your semi-final.
And you see the emotion on both players.